Dear colleagues, we are pleased to invite Dr. Ivan Parnikoza, the head of Department of Biology and Ecology of National Scientific Antarctic Center of Ukraine, with the lecture about evolution of Antarctic biota. You are welcome.
Thank you, Natala. Hello, everybody. I will speak about history of Antarctic terrestrial biota with special attention of some terrestrial organisms, which can explain us this very difficult way which Antarctica had in the past, and we will interested in today's modern terrestrial organisms in Antarctica. What information they then can tell us on a moment. Antarctica actually is forgotten continent. This is continent in the size similar to Europe, but if you pay your attention on some representation of the globe in our current life, in our common life, sometimes we have not Antarctica in our opinion, in our public opinion, but this situation needs to be different, need to be changed. Actually, Antarctica is very poor ice continent, which lay on the southern pole, and only 2 species of vascular plants live here. This is Deschamps Antarctica and Antarctic purewort. Near 100 species of mosses, near 20 species of liverworts, and a little bit more species of lichens. On this slide, you can see different terrestrial organisms of Antarctica, small trees of snare, very green covers of different mosses, a lot of very bright colors of Antarctic lichens, very different shapes and forms. And here you can see current terrestrial biome of South Shetland Islands, of Nelson Island. So now Antarctica looks like tundra, but everything was different before. In the beginning of the 20th century, in Swedish expedition of Northern Scout, Antarctic scientists provide first report of ancient Antarctic vegetation. It was very big insight because scientists understood that in the past Antarctica was very green, very tropic, very a lot of trees, a lot of bushes, a lot of different organisms live in Antarctica in the past. What is dramatic history of Antarctica? First of all, I need to represent you 2 first part, historically, geologically, first part of Antarctica. This is East Antarctica. This is very big plateau, which exists from the times of 4 billion years ago. This is the part of one of the component of Gondwana, which exists before Mesozoic period, before Mesozoic split of this South supercontinent. Now we start characterize history of Antarctica from the East Antarctica, and in following we will observe the origin of the another part of Antarctica, West Antarctica. So beginning was very understandable now, because we know about first terrestrial organism, about first terrestrial plants only on the base of cryptospores. Cryptospores, this is spores of some terrestrial organism, but scientists have not any information about what exactly organisms produce these spores. These anonymous, anonymous traces of the ancient life. But now, after discussion, we consider that these first cryptospores very similar to cryptospores of liverworts, moth-like organisms which still exist in Antarctica. The first traces of life in the Antarctica dated back to 480 million years ago for Western Gondwana, no Antarctica, but area where nowadays Argentina. I need to explain that the most part of Antarctica covered by ice sheet. So it is very difficult to looking for some traces of life about some paleobotanical or paleontological rest in this continent. So a lot of jobs, a lot of questions, but we need to reconstruct history of this continent, of terrestrial life on this continent, sometimes according to some analogies from the nearest continents, from continents which belonged in the past to one southern supercontinent Gondwana. Current glaciation is not first on Antarctica, because in a very deep past in Devonian, in Carboniferous period, very big glaciation covered Antarctica. So we have a lot of very interesting traces of this glaciation on the rocks of different continents. You can see on Africa, on southern part of South America, and Antarctica was in epicenter of this glaciation. So this is not first ice continent in the history of our planet. But after split of southern supercontinent, a lot of currents make climate more soft, and we know about very famous Permian forest consist of Glossopteris. Glossopteris, this is seed fern. This is not actually fern. This is representative of ancient group of seed ferns, and it is very famous organism, because these fossil leaves of Glossopteris was found at the first by expedition of Robert Scott, which tried to reach South Pole. This very tragic episode in Antarctica, Antarctic exploration history, but scientists which joined Robert Scott in this expedition made very important discovery. These fossil leaves of Glossopteris exist on all continents which grew in the past in supercontinent, in southern supercontinent Gondwana. So if we have such evidence in South America or in Australia, we can reconstruct that these elements, this is part of supercontinent Gondwana. You can see discontinuous stance of Glossopteris, which lie on the whole supercontinent Gondwana near the South Pole. Now we can see some some similar trees, some similar forests in Australian New South Wales, but this is only forest of ferns, not seed ferns. Of course, in this time, first cicadas invite in the Antarctic. If you will see in some botanical garden and looks on cicadas, or you probably have cicadas on your home, you can see one of the Antarcticans from the Permian period. Okay, this is time of origin of Western Antarctica. In the Mesozoic time, a lot of very, very powerful volcanic events was in the near the strait of Transantarctic Mountains, and this is actually line of Andean mountain creation. So a lot of volcanism in this area was, and these volcanic masses produce new land, a lot of new islands, a lot of new land masses. These land masses groups in the one conglomerate, and in this way, Western Antarctica origin, Western Antarctica and Antarctic Peninsula. Actually, Antarctic Peninsula is the most famous part of Antarctica. Generally, Ukrainian Antarctic Station Vernadsky lay on Antarctic Peninsula, and most station of another countries lay in Antarctic Peninsula. This nearest part of Antarctica, nearest to South America. And this is Antarctic Peninsula is part of this more young Western Antarctica. And it is very interesting for us. This is some analogies, some represents which take us possibility to realize our fantasy and to see forests of Antarctica from the Jurassic period, the period of Antarctic dinosaurs, and Cretaceous period. In our botanical gardens, on our streets, we can see Ginkgo biloba. Ginkgo, this is typical representative of flora of Antarctica and whole southern supercontinent from this time. Another very interesting representative, this is kauri tree or agatis. Agatis, very, very fantastic giant tree from the New Zealand, and this tree very ancient and represent very old flora of south part of our globe. And of course, in this time, Antarctica was very important bridge in South America and Australia. We need to understand that a lot of organisms originally developed in South America after the spread in another continents. It is and Antarctica was a very, very important bridge to spreading of a lot of organisms. And if we speak about platypus and very, very ancient mammals, it's true that Antarctica was a habitat of these very ancient mammals too. And in this time, in Jurassic period, which Gondwana still represent one land mass, we have another evidence of this existing of this joint land mass. This is a group of ankylosaurs. ankylosaurs of Antarctopelta. This is second after Posopteris or Agathis trees, evidence of existing of southern supercontinent Gondwana. You can recognize these very funny dinosaurs because in a lot of animation, these dinosaurs hit Tyrannosaurus Rex by hammer on its tail. Yeah, and it have hammer on its tail and can fight with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Flowering plants. This is a very big enigma. Originating of flowering plants, we all like flowering plants with very big flowers. This most ancient, actually, flowering plants like magnolia. Now scientists consider that these plants originated about 112 million years ago, and we have some deposits from Alexander Island. This is the most southern part of Antarctic Peninsula, and probably flowering plants cannot spread through Antarctica. And Antarctica was a barrier in the Western Gondwana part, and fortunately, flowering plants cannot go through Antarctica and another continent. First, flowering plants was like trees or shrubs, and after this, like herbaceous, some grasses and another forms. And the end of Cretaceous, it was very important process of split of Gondwana. So it was very dramatic effect on Antarctica, because split of Australia and creation of some gap between Antarctica and Australia originate semi-Antarctic circulation, semi-Antarctic current. So this not absolutely circular current on this moment, but it's case of the cooling on Antarctica, initial cooling of Antarctica. And simultaneously with these effects, from South America, new forests come to Antarctica. This is forest of flowering plants, of Nothofagus, southern beech. This tree represents southern flora. Now this different genus of Nothofagus exist on the different continents, but they cannot spread seeds on sea or water, so they need continental bridges. So different species of Nothofagus, this is traces of continental contacts between different continents, which in the past was parts of Gondwana. Another very famous trees of Cretaceous tertiary vegetation. So this time of changes from the Mesozoic to tertiary vegetation. These Araucaria trees. You probably know these trees from the flora of South America or Australia or our botanical gardens. Very interesting ancient trees. These trees actually very often used for reconstruction of forest of Jurassic period. This is background for dinosaurs of different reconstruction of this period. and these trees still exist on our planet, and places, these forests provide us possibility to see our planet on the past. Yeah, this is actually very interesting. That if you will travel in the south, on the north, you can see different stages of the past of our area. If we speak about Ukraine, in North America we can see glaciation period, we can see some tertiary vegetation, and we can uh, see our country in the past. Yes, because North America provides such possibility. No so big extinction in North America, very big extinction in the Europe. But if we need to uh, need to reconstruct ecosystems of southern hemisphere, we need to go through South America, from the Patagonia to the Terra del Fuego. And of course, very interesting for us was Tasmania, New Zealand. And in this slide, you can see forests which can actually provide possibility to reconstruct flora of Antarctica from the Cretaceous Tertiary period of changes. So this forest looks like cool temperate forest of Tasmania and New Zealand. We still have some trees which alive in this forest. This is trees from the Antarctica past. So this is really very interesting relics of very ancient vegetation. Of course, we can found some Valdivian type forest in Chile and Argentine Andes. So actually, connection between Andes and Transantarctic mountains is very interesting. We will speak about this in this lecture. In this time, all vegetation near all terrestrial biome near South Pole create Vedelian province. It was very interesting province of terrestrial life with terrestrial flora of Notrophagus, with a lot of marsupials. You all know marsupials like koala or kangaroo. But of course, in these times, it was very small, funny organisms which only start evolution and start spreading on another continent. And you can see that Eocene deposits from Seymour Island. Seymour Island this is very important place on the map of Antarctica. This is small islands with a lot of fossils. So we can reconstruct tertiary fauna of Antarctica mainly due the facts or some deposits of Seymour Island. And the very important discoveries was created on the Seymour Island. One of them, this is that we cannot speak about marsupials, that this is aboriginal fauna of Australia, because originally marsupials come to Australia through Antarctica. So a lot of animals, very specific animals, spread in Antarctica around Eocene. Actually, Eocene was the one of the most heat period, warm period of the tertiary epoch. So in this time, Antarctica was very green and a lot of organisms spread here. And it's a very dramatic we can see in another and the next step near the 33 million years ago. This semi-current start to provide cooling of Antarctica, initial cooling of Antarctica. So we have some contact between Antarctic Peninsula and South America, but all another coast of Antarctica was isolated by oceanic current, and first glaciers start on the Antarctic mountains in the eastern Antarctic in the Hamburtsev mountains. This is initiation of the current complete Antarctic sheet. And the boundary of the Oligocene and Miocene near 20 million years ago, Antarctic vegetation has developed on the something which looks like Magellanic Forest of South America. Magellanic Forest of South America, this is most south forest of this continent on the Tierra del Fuego mainly. And this is a kingdom of Southern Beach. Only three trees, actually 3-4 species of trees originate this very humid forests. And of course, we can see the past of Antarctica from this period of cooling on this sometimes subantarctic forest. Sometimes scientists call this forest subantarctic. Of course, the main reason for very isolated and white Antarctica, current white Antarctica, this is creation of Drake Passage. Creation of Drake Passage near 20 million years ago. It was the main reason for complete glaciation of Antarctica. So after you can see that between South America and Antarctic Peninsula, some very, very long continental bridge existed. For the arc disappeared in the Miocene. So all this very strong current go through these gates, and finally Antarctic circumpolar current start to exist. It was complete isolation of Antarctica, complete isolation of very cold Antarctic waters and more warm South American waters. These dramatic events provide to changes of global ocean and atmospheric circulation. For instance, one of the very, very cold Antarctic current now follow the South America near Pacific coast, and provide possibility for penguins come on this coast and provide life on the Pacific coast on the South America. So, but this is not this event's not the end of Antarctic vegetation, because in all Antarctica and the West Antarctica and the East Antarctica, in this period we can see some tundras with some shrub-like notophagus, with a lot of different plants, not two like now, but more. And the last evidence of this flora we can found in transantarctic mountains on the big altitude. Some refuges of on Antarctic flora existed. These traces dated near 3 million years ago. The end of Antarctic vegetation, or the end of original Antarctic vegetation, probably, was last glaciation maximum. This dramatic event take place near 26,000 years ago, and it was dramatic events when glaciers come to the Antarctic shelf and provide very, very big snow, very big glacier cover. You can see that this, according to traditional models, these glaciers go to the kilometers on the coastal zone. Are probably some island groups covered by these glaciers, like some glacier islands. This is traditional model, of course, because it is very difficult to recognize glacial line in the southern hemisphere, because this is this oceanic hemisphere, and we need to recognize this according to isotope analysis, according to iceberg sediments, and another traces which provide possibility to reconstruct line of spread of glacier spread in this last glacial maximum. How was the modern terrestrial ecosystem formed? Some organisms survive, some probably spread from the north. Yeah. On this slide, you can see oldest specimen of moss from one of the first scientific expedition of Antarctica. And from this time, all scientists have questioned what organisms survive, what organisms spread. Now we have a lot of information about some survival in Antarctica. In the northern hemisphere, some scientists provide Nunatak hypothesis. So Nunatak hypothesis, this is that above ice sheet, we have a lot of some rocks, nunataks. These nunataks not covered by ice, so on these places, some terrestrial life can survive. So this hypothesis spread from Arctic to Antarctica, or from Alps to Antarctica. Even now that these small organisms like springtails or endemic Antarctic meat can survive on Antarctica, probably on such nunataks, but nunataks hypothesis is very good for some lichens too, but not so good for mosses, because mosses need more moisture, need more warm condition for survival. And of course, we have different mosses in Antarctica, but all of them is very interesting because this conglomerate of Antarctic endemics, Antarctic migrants, and sometimes these invaders which come to Antarctica with human activity. So in this slide, you can see one of the most valuable species in the region of academic Vernadsky Station is western coast of Antarctic Peninsula. This is Antarctic endemics. So this is plants which spread only in Antarctica. They actually have not sexual reproduction. They only reproduce by parts of stems of leaves. And in case of some of them, like Centrichia sarconeurum, we can speak about this is endemics from the time of Gondwana. So we can remember that in the past, all southern supercontinent take this conglomerate southern supercontinent, and time of these species can speak that probably this is endemic of relict of this supercontinent on Antarctica. Another very interesting example. This is snowy sheet bill. This is only one bird in Antarctica, which we can recognize like terrestrial bird. So this bird cannot possibility to swim. This is not like penguin or cormorant marine bird. And actually, this is the biggest terrestrial organism in modern Antarctica, and history of this species very interesting. Probably this is relict of the past, which need to live near penguin colonies and eat mainly rests of penguin diets. So this is very, very tragic history. They need to adaptate to the penguin guano, and in this dramatic way survive in Antarctica. Unfortunately, not now very strict investigation about the species, about chronology of the species, but probably it can be relic too. Some another species we can speak about distribution from South America, spread from South America, because South America actually this is the closest land, yeah, the subantarctica, South America, the closest land to Antarctica. And in this case, scientists speak about birds. Of course, birds can spread some parts of mosses or lichens on features, on tails, on other parts of the body. So probably this is the main distributor of some species in Antarctica. But we cannot speak about very, very big distribution. A lot of organisms live in South America and subantarctica, more organisms, more vascular plants. But in Antarctica, still number of organisms very limited. This is still open question. Why? Some species which spread in Antarctica have bipolar distribution. So we have mosses from the Arctic in Antarctic. Yeah, we have lichens from Arctic in Antarctic. We have not very clear explanation why. Probably this is species from Antarctic to Arctic. I'm not sure, because only some species of birds have this fantastic crazy migration from the Arctic to Antarctic, like Arctic tern. Arctic tern, it is very similar to Antarctic tern. Probably some population of Antarctic tern decided to stay in Antarctica, no migrate, and organize Antarctic population. But another still fly from Arctic to Antarctic, and you can see like no directly, yeah, but this is absolutely difficult way for this birds. And these birds actually by scientists recognized like source of migration of organisms from Arctic and Antarctic. Oh, probably some whalers, yeah, which originated from Norway. Was additional source of such migration, and we need to investigate this question because some whalers from it was very tragic history in Antarctica, whaling, but these whalers, many of them originated from Norway, so they can spread something in Antarctica too. Yeah. But some species spread before this whaling epoch. Antarctic vascular plants is very interesting question because you can see two represents the Shamsi Antarctica and Colobanthus squedensis. This is very little flora in comparison for nearest Antarctica, in comparison for Chilean or South American ants with very harsh conditions. So in very harsh condition, high mountain condition of ants, Andes mountains, yes, in South America, Cordillera, there was Andes. So in this mountains, a lot of species of vascular plants. So in Antarctica, only two. Why? We have some heat, warming now in Antarctica. We have spread by birds and other things, but still two. Of course, we can see some very interesting reaction of these plants because algae after such experience died. In Antarctic, no. Of course, some migrants exist, but mainly by activity of humans, and this is very limited number of grass which cannot survive in Antarctica for the long time, according to current observation. So probably this is question of long-term pre-adaptation and communication with co-adaptation and communication with another organism. So according to this, we propose conception of survival of Antarctic plants in vascular plants in Antarctica. It starts discussion and additional investigation and opinion of scientists split because in case of the Shamsi Antarctica, they agree that the Shamsi can survive last glacial maximum. And in case of Colobanthus, no. So both these studies prepared on the molecular clock approach, but we actually have not any information about time of genetic changes in genome of these plants. So it is a little bit difficult to evaluate time of changes in genome of these two plants and recognize in what time this split can be realized and what time of originating of these plants in area. We have not now fossils of these plants of some seeds before Holocene time. Interesting evidence we have according to very spread Antarctic according to development molecular biology investigation of this, because actually Antarctic plants have some clusters of spread in the western coast of Antarctic Peninsula. No Antarctic plants in the eastern Antarctica, no on the eastern coast of Antarctic Peninsula, only in maritime Antarctic zone. This is a little bit along the western coast of Antarctic Peninsula. So no discontinuous area, but some clusters isolated from each other. And we can see that these clusters collect genetic heterogeneity. And sometimes we can speak that these plants can maybe have origin from different sources. So some plants from the north, sometimes some plants from the south. So it looks like we have some different origin of migration of these plants. It may be migration from North from America, waves of this migration. It may be migration from different refugias, from different places which this where these plants can survive. And unfortunately, we have not very precise evaluation of time of this migration. Another component which can provide possibility to survive what is exactly this vascular plants. This is interaction with microbiota. A lot now we study a lot of endophytes of these plants, and they have very development microbiome inside these plants. And this investigation only started and developed in many countries. So it is very important question. Probably these plants in process of pre-adaptation can create some connection with some fungi, with some bacteria. These plants have different reorganization of chromosome number. We have evidence of B chromosomes in these plants, and different populations have some changes in chromosome number. It is still looks like different something like different groups which separate and develop independently. But in Antarctica, we still have our Antarctic gardener, main Antarctic gardener, Dominican gull, kelp gull, and this animal like to use Antarctic vascular plants and other plants to nest, and sometimes can provide some mix, which you can see on this dendrograms. So if you investigate some genetic variability between different populations on some area, you can see some mix of plants. So it corresponds to activity of this plant of these animals, and catch patch of this plant and go on another island and provide nest or lost patch of this plant or lost patch with seeds. So they can provide colonization, they can provide mix of different representatives from different populations. And probably in the past, they can provide some like step-by-step colonization from refugia or from the initial point of migration of these plants. And finally, I need to tell you about some very interesting information, because we all time speak about history of Antarctica and in Antarctica. And if we need to understand more about Antarctica, about ancient flora, about connection with another continents, we need to pay attention of this transit zone between Antarctica and continents, yeah, in former Gondwana. Subantarctic, this transit zone, which a lot of islands with very different origin, sometimes like Kerguelen. Kerguelen, this is French Antarctic territories. So this is part of Gondwana. This is a small fragment between different continents, Africa and Antarctica, but this is actually a component of Gondwana. So here on Kerguelen, we can see some organisms which live in Antarctica, and probably when we study this very difficult area to study, a lot of islands in the ocean, but here probably we need to looking for information about some refuges, about some endemics, about some sources of Antarctic colonization. And for you, for for scientists, probably it will be very interesting to pay attention on this area for finding some solution for the understanding of Antarctic past. And on this slide, I prepare some sources for additional information about my topic, about this question which we try to understand in this lecture. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ivan, for such a deep lecture about evolution of Antarctic flora. It's incredible generally to imagine that sometimes previously it was really a green continent, yeah. A green pot of some bigger continent.